Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, we're going to talk about the scathing attack made by one of the politicians in Gambia who has advised landowners in the country to not sell their land to any Afro-Caribbeans or African Americans. We're going to analyse his words and we're going to ask ourselves, why would he have said that? But first, as always, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share and click the bell notification. This is the first time that any minister of any government in Africa has ever openly expressed to their citizens not to sell returning diasporans, specifically returning diasporans, any land. So the gentleman who actually made this comment, his name is the Honourable Musa Dramé. He is the land minister, so his words actually carry some weight. I think for context, I think it's important that I actually read the news article to you verbatim so you can see for yourself exactly what he said. Landowners in the country have been advised against leasing or selling land to African Americans, Black, British and Caribbeans living in the country. The Minister of Lands and Regional Government, Honourable Musa Dramé, said, and they quote, "Don't sell your land to some of them." During a brief speech, Minister Dramé disclosed his ministry has been receiving reports of landowners selling land to diaspora Africans without due process or carefully thought out procedures. He described the act as wrong, alleging that some of the diaspora Africans are land grabbers. They claim to be investors. And this is in quotes again. This is Minister Dramé talking. They claim to be investors, but some of them are land grabbers. They want your land. Before you sign any document, make sure you conduct a background check on them, the minister advised. He added, if you give them your land with their name on all the documents, it may be difficult to reclaim them in the future. Dramé also advised landowners to refer diasporan Africans wishing to acquire land to relevant authorities, particularly his ministry and area councils. I can't imagine that he would have said something quite as harsh as this without there being a good reason. Now, of course, a lot of diasporans have been reacting to this and asking to themselves why the real land grabbers, and we know who they are, why those people weren't mentioned in Musa Dramé's statement. Apparently the Lebanese, the Chinese and all the other nationalities and races that were coming in, they are not a problem. Their paperwork is all fine and they are not there to grab land. Just us. It must be said that literally within 24 hours of him making this statement, the Gambian government turned around and made a statement saying, hey, listen, he didn't mean that. He didn't really say it that way. What he was just saying is that we need to be more careful about who we send the land to. So a bit of damage control there by the Gambian government. But I think it's too late. I think the damage has already been done. And I think Honourable Musa Dramé, I think he was simply letting his heart run and telling people exactly how he felt about the African diasporans returning to the continent, returning to the Gambia, and perhaps causing a bit of trouble. Now, I think it's easy to assume that he was talking specifically about African diasporans because of the climate over there between returning diasporans and between the different ethnicities between these diasporans, and also organised crime syndicates that have come to the Gambia who are essentially scamming people out of hundreds of thousands of euros. So what exactly is his problem? Why is he saying this? Well, we can only hypothesize. So the people with the money, the people who he thinks has all the money and is coming there to buy the land are not African diasporans. So we're kind of an easy target for a lot of these ministers. He wouldn't target the Chinese simply because the Chinese are investing a lot of money in the country. He's not going to target the Lebanese because he's trying to build an environment which is friendly to the Lebanese so they can build commerce like they've been doing for many, many decades. This could be about politics. You have this minister right now who is vying for power. And the way they vie for power is they lobby businesses in the Gambia, or normally in their district. So what they would do is they would say something which defended the Chinese coming in and the Lebanese coming in and buying the land. It was more perhaps of a communique to the Lebanese and the Chinese and the Indians and whoever else is coming in to say, hey, listen, I'm a government minister, I'm here for you. You want me to help? We can help each other. Let me rise through the ranks of the government. Lobby me. Help me out. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That is generally the way it happens in the United States of America. I think that if it was purely about the behavior of the diasporans once they have got back into the Gambia, I think he would have said something slightly different. He hasn't got any reason to not say that it's because we are not behaving ourselves in the Gambia. So I don't think that is the reason. But clearly there is an agenda behind this. He wouldn't have just said it for no reason. And he specifically called us land grabbers when everybody on the ground knows that that is not the case. Now, if you were planning to go to the Gambia to buy land and to buy a house and put your house on that land, then you don't need to worry. It's not going to affect you simply because these are just words. But what he could be doing is trying to condition people to focus their money and making sure that they sell their land to people who are going to be perhaps, in his eyes, more astute at turning around a profit and turning the engine for the Gambian economy. So this is perhaps a sign of things to come. The Gambia is a small country. It's not like Ghana, it's not like Nigeria. Land is a premium. It should come as a premium there in the Gambia. However, because of the lack of infrastructure there, it's not attracting the big investors the way most large African countries do. We must also consider two other things. Number one, African diasporans returning to the Gambia, okay? Many of the ministers don't want this to happen. And the reason they don't want this to happen is because at this moment, their life is pretty much set up. The lives of their children are set up as well. Most of their children do not go to school in the Gambia. They go to school in Europe, okay? And they teach them how to be, once again, ministers of parliament, politicians, if you will. So they are setting up their lives, the lives of their children and the lives of their children's children well into the future. So the last thing these politicians want is an influx of highly educated people into the Gambia, black people who can easily integrate into their society and also easily rise through the ranks in the government. It can make the competition for those political roles a lot more difficult. Another thing is the business side of things. Listen, if you've got a Chinese man who has a bit of money, who doesn't mind overpaying for land, right? Or you have a returning diasporan who may not want to buy as much land, but they feel somehow like they deserve the land in the first place. It's a lot easier for them to do the business with these Chinese, with the Asians, with the Middle Easterners. It's cleaner. They come, they give the money, they go. It's really, there's no messing around. There's no reconnection. There's no person thinking that they are entitled to the land, and that's sort of what we have been expressing to the Gambian people. It's clear to me that the government is not on our side, okay? There are reasons for it, like I've just stated. So we need to tread carefully from now on. Listen, the African dream is still alive and in effect. The Gambia is one of the smallest countries in Africa. It's a speck on the continent, okay? It's at this present moment, it's my belief that it's not attracting the best of the best. It's actually attracting the people who need the most help, even the diasporans. With no disrespect to the Gambia or its people, there are other bigger economies, countries with better infrastructure, who are also part of the ECOWAS group of countries. So, you don't need to go to the Gambia. There are other countries as well that has land just as cheap who are also in ECOWAS. So what's your point of view? I'd really like to hear what your view is on this. Do any of you guys plan to go back to the Gambia? Do any of you guys live in the Gambia? Are any of you guys Gambians and agree with this politician? Let me know in the comments section. It'd be really good to hear from you. That's it from me for today. Guys, keep watching this channel. We have some more hot subjects coming up. If you think that last video was something that was going to be hotly contested, you are going to... You're not going to believe what I have coming up soon. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, think twice, ta-ra a bit.